I am really bad at kata.
Interesting.
A lot of people design their lives based around avoiding stuff they don't like, and I want it to be the exact opposite. So there is no fear.
Perfect.
One of my better performing YouTube videos has been on the idea of kata. And obviously you're a big kata guy.
So what was that video about?
So for
Exactly.
me, I mentioned my karate experience has been a very Americanized, like we practice Okinawan katas and Okinawan techniques, but it's a very Americanized.
Can you tell me a few of the katas or techniques that you practice?
Sure.
Just for fun?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we go over all the nahanchis. We go over all the pinans. We go basai. We go gekisais. We go, let's see here.
Interesting. So you're combining at least two main, forms of Okinawan karate.
Yep. Sanshin, Siuchin.
Okay.
Let's see here. We have 20. Why am I slipping on some of them right now?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry.
Tori 3. I mean, we've got a bunch of them. My kata video, obviously, I've had the conversation with Mike and other people where, like, I feel like I constantly have to defend kata. And my kata reasoning is kind of a lot like you mentioned before. I love the body mechanics of it. For me, while I don't necessarily go into the bunkai as much as you do, just because I haven't been able to train with somebody who does particularly bunkai more often, when I do see bunkai, it's in a little bit I get to train with my father, or it's through people online. For me, I love teaching kids kata especially because the kata itself is so good for understanding body movement, understanding good stability, good balance, things like that. But I'd love to know why you train kata.
Because I just started hurting myself when I did full contact fighting. So I was like, I'm just going to kick and punch thin air from now on. Because it doesn't kick or punch back.
That's true. That's true.
It's like you, I also see kata as a form of physical exercise as well. I mean, I love it just for the practice, even if you don't want to apply it in self-defense or whatever. It's just a wonderful form of practice that doesn't require any equipment or training partner, which is perfect right now. Yeah. But if you don't have a good instructor, if you don't know how deep you can get into the technical aspects, then you might feel like you're very, very limited in your practice of kata because you don't see how this could be useful or beneficial to your journey in martial arts.
No, I agree.
Overall,
I feel like if you're not like deeply invested in it and you're looking from the outside, I could understand how like kata might seem like it's something that isn't worth the time as like shadow boxing. But in a lot of the ways, like you see more and more people drilling these repetitive solo drills now, like you see it in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You could argue that the long Mayweather 20-piece combos with the mitts are a form of kata.
Yeah.
And I think that we've had kata for so long that maybe it's a little bit difficult to absolutely say what each piece of bunkai is.
Yeah.
But that movement, regardless, I like to think of it as like if bunkai is how my teacher would have taught me to speak English back in the day, like if that's like the way to do it, I feel like the application of it is something more like slang, where like I'm saying the same stuff that she told me to say. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't sound the same.
Right.
There's more of like inaccuracies or inconsistencies, but it's gonna have like it's the most efficient way to speak.
Somebody once said that learning a kata is like learning a song in a foreign language. So no matter how beautiful you make it sound, somehow you might still not understand the meaning of the words.
Sure.
But it might still be very beautiful, just like when you hear a bird chirping in the trees. Might be beautiful even though you don't understand it, right? So even though you don't the meaning of each move, it might still be something that you can enjoy.
Sure. That's true.
No, but honestly, I've competed in, I started, when you want to compete in karate, you have to basically pick either you do kata or you do kumite, which is the fighting, right?
Yeah.
At least if you want to become a member of the national team and stuff, you got to choose because nobody at the top level is really good at both.
Yeah, both, right.
Good at one, but if you want to be great, you got to basically choose, right? So I went with kata, and It's because kata is what I am the worst at. I am really bad at kata, but I wanted to be good at it. And at some point I realized that if I just keep running away from stuff that is difficult, I'm never gonna overcome it. And it will always be some kind of weakness or limitation, not just physically, but mentally as well, because a lot of people design their lives based around avoiding stuff they don't like. And I want it to be the exact opposite. So there is no fear in anything I do in my life anymore, because I've faced all of my fears, whether it's training or something else, right? Public speaking was another fear, and so on and so forth. So I just decided that I'm going to be really good at kata. So I picked kata that I thought were challenging and difficult, not the ones I were good at necessarily, but the ones I were bad at. And then I decided I'm just going to focus on this. And I failed 5 years in a row to become a member of the national team. And then I got in. Then I got to the finals of the Premier League. I got to the bronze finals of the European Championships, yada, yada, national champion, Nordic champion. And now, basically, I've become this image that I had like 10 years ago in my head of where I wanted to be in my journey as a competitor doing kata. But of course, I still do kumite or fighting when I train, but not necessarily for competing. And I've done, cage fighting as well and stuff. But obviously, I still have a lot further to go, but because the journey never ends. But that's basically why I picked kata.
Cool. So that's pretty interesting. A lot of people are like kind of iffy about the sport side of karate, but I mean the art, like the best part about sport in any case is that you wouldn't have trained nearly as hard if there wasn't something that was driving you toward. I mean, you're a competitive person. I feel like sport itself makes athletes 10 times better within a field.
Yeah, it gives you some kind of challenge, basically.
Right.
In regards to what makes kata worthwhile and worth practicing, there's always 3 categories as to why you might be practicing kata. And each are equally justified. If you like doing kata, it could be because you are into the sport. You want the competition of kata. You really enjoy performing the movements in front of people and being judged against your peers on how fluid your movement is, how fast it is, how precise you are, among a couple different other things. This reason is totally fair. If you enjoy doing this, then that's what you should do. Kata doesn't have to be just about fighting. Kata could be an expression of movement. Kata could also be about expressing your art on your own, being able to practice movement and repeat body mechanics over and over and over. Learn how to move your body from one stance to another, being able to flow from sequence to sequence. It could be about bunkai, it could be about the striking movements, it could be about throws and arm break, it could be about understanding leverage and body mechanics on how to throw somebody. Depending on what lineage you follow under, it could mean a plethora of things regarding bunkai. I hate these birds so much. So this falls under the self-defense aspect, the actual physical training on how to beat somebody up if you ever end up in that situation. This is where it gets the most flack. With that being said, a lot of the people who give kata issues are not the same people who train for a long period of time. I am convinced that if somebody gave me a manila envelope and 3 years on how to train with that manila envelope, I could cut you up left, right, sideways, upside down, and then after cutting you up, I'd like slit in between your fingers in the middle of a punch, just and get you those nasty paper cuts, you know what I mean? And then lastly, you can just have fun. It can be totally recreational. You don't have to constantly be worried about what other people are doing. As long as you're honest with yourself, you can practice the super flashy katas, not be worried about the bunkai, not worry about competition, but just do what you enjoy doing. If it's something that you really, really like, who gives a crap what other people have to say, right? It doesn't have to be strictly MMA, for the streets, for fighting, or nothing at all. You can have the fun time in between. It could fall under fitness, where it's like sort of recreation, but also you just do it for good cardio because it's great for moving your body. When you really bang out a couple katas, it really gets your breath going. With fitness, tons of other martial arts have that fitness aspect to it that really doesn't help them much in the streets. You see tons of like fitness kickboxing classes that nobody gives flack to Kata can just be that for you. So with that being said, you don't have to make up excuses for why you like Kata. Be honest with yourself why you like Kata, train your Kata, and be happy doing it. If you like Jesse's stuff, make sure you go check out his channel. I'm sure you already have, let's be honest. Thank you for watching all the way through. You're a real one, I appreciate you. Make sure you let me know what other kind of content you want to see. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you can see the next talk that Jesse and I have. And if you don't subscribe, I will kick you.
The karate black belt, especially in America, has become something that is, it feels a little less than what it used to. Whether that be because of misinformation for people who see karate